Former KwaZulu-Natal Hawks head Johan Booysen has launched a scathing attack on the Nkabinde inquiry, accusing it of being self-serving and an abuse of process for revisiting long-abandoned racketeering charges linked to the Katamena unit. The Nkabinde inquiry was established to assess the fitness of Gauteng Director of Public Prosecutions (DPP) Andrew to hold office, following allegations by the National Director of Public Prosecutions and DPP Shamila Batohi that Chauke protected high-profile individuals and made politically motivated prosecution decisions. However, proceedings at the inquiry have frequently centered on the controversial racketeering case brought against Booysen and members of the elite Katamena unit, charges that Batohi herself withdrew in 2019. According to City Press, Booysen believes the inquiry is attempting to resurrect the discredited case indirectly, and said any attempt to revive the Katamena case through the back door is self-serving and an abuse of process. Taxpayers have already been burdened with the 7-year investigation that cost millions of rand. He noted that the Durban High Court had previously dismissed the evidence of businessman Arist Teanicus, who was central to the Katamena allegations. The same evidence was also rejected by an investigation panel chaired by the late Advocate Rodney de Kock during his tenure as Deputy National Director of Public Prosecutions, and said this is an attempt to deflect from the real issue under scrutiny, which is Chauke's conduct. Booysen's legal team has repeatedly raised objections to the inquiry, arguing that he has not been afforded a fair opportunity to respond to renewed allegations against him. The inquiry has rejected claims that it is straying from its mandate. Spokesperson Deisela Mbuzana said any evidence presented is strictly limited to assessing Chauke's suitability to remain in office. The inquiry remains focused on its primary task to establish all relevant facts relating to the allegations contained in the terms of reference in order to assess the fitness of Advocate Chauke to hold office as DPP. Any evidence laid before the inquiry is considered only insofar as it is relevant and necessary to the proper execution of that mandate. During testimony, Batohi alleged that Chauke played a role in evidence gathering, decision-making and appeal processes related to Katamena case. However, under intense cross-examination by Chauke's counsel, Advocate Thembeka Mngadi, Batohi considered she had not read the full case docket before concluding that the racketeering charges against Booysen lacked evidential support. She further acknowledged that some allegations leveled against Chauke were incorrect, concessions that prompted questions about her credibility and judgment. Days later, Batohi declined to continue her testimony, citing the need to consult with her legal team. Booysen, who was arrested and charged in the now-defunct racketeering case, instituted a civil claim in 2019 for wrongdoing, arrest and malicious prosecution. The NPA has since reportedly reached a multi-million rand out-of-court settlement with him, bringing formal closure to a case that continues to cast a long shadow over South Africa's prosecutorial system. Meanwhile, the National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Shamila Batohi, stunned the nation when she failed to return from a lunch adjournment at the Nkabinde Commission of Inquiry into the fitness to hold office of South Gauteng Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Andrew Chauke. It took a firm intervention by Commission Chair Justice Bess Nkabinde to compel Batohi back into the inquisitorial chamber. When she did return, her response only deepened the controversy. She announced that she had unilaterally decided to stop answering questions put to her under cross-examination by Chauke's lead counsel, Advocate Thembeka Mngadi. This episode did not occur in isolation. Batohi had, even before her cross-examination began, made it clear that she wanted the Commission's terms of reference amended. That stance strongly suggests she entered the process unprepared for the realities of an inquiry that allows for robust cross-examination. It appears she may have assumed that having personally petitioned President Ramaphosa to establish the Commission her request to reshape its mandate will be automatically granted. That assumption proved badly misplaced. Amending the terms of reference to limit or exclude cross-examination would have been fundamentally unfair. At stake is the career and reputation of Advocate Chauke, who faces potentially career-ending findings. Basic principles of natural justice demand that an accused person be allowed to test the evidence of their accuser. Any commission that denied Chauke or his legal team the opportunity to cross-examine Batoyi would have been fatally flawed. This is not a technical legal point. It lies at the very heart of fairness, partiality, and avoidance of bias. For years, commentators and analysts have bent over backwards to afford Batoyi the benefit of the doubt. She was widely seen as having inherited a national prosecuting authority hollowed out by years of state capture, an institution weakened, compromised, and stripped of capacity long before she took office. Her defenders consistently argued that these structural failures, rather than personal shortcomings, explained the NPA's inability to deliver decisive prosecutions. Indeed, one of Batoyi's central allegations against Chauke is that he facilitated state capture by failing to prosecute without fear, favor, or prejudice. This framing positioned her as a reformer battling the lingering forces of a captured state. But her conduct at the commission on May 15 December has fundamentally altered that narrative. In choosing to walk out of a commission of inquiry without permission and without following established legal protocols, Batoyi invited comparisons with the former President Jacob Zuma, whose own defiance of the Zondo Commission culminated in his incarceration in July 2021. That episode, in turn, triggered widespread unrest across Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, marking one of the most volatile periods in South Africa's democratic history. The question now confronting Justice Nkabinde, Advocate Nqubani Topi, and the country at large is stuck. Does Batoyi genuinely not understand the consequences of defying a commission of inquiry, or does she simply not care? If she did care, the solution was obvious and elementary. Any competent legal practitioner would have advised her to communicate her decision to stop answering questions through her legal team. The NPA, as the complainant in these proceedings, is represented by senior lawyers. A simple instruction from Batoyi to her counsel that she required further legal advice before continuing could have been conveyed to the commission with ease. Instead, what unfolded was a display of arrogance that bordered on open contempt for the process. Throughout her cross-examination, Batoyi appeared to adopt the posture that her refusal to be questioned should be accepted simply because she had declared it so. That attitude, more than any legal argument, exposed a deeper problem. She may have inherited a compromised institution when she assumed leadership of the NPA, but her actions at the Nkabinde Commission have laid bare a more uncomfortable truth. She was not the leader required to restore the institution to credibility, health, and public confidence. In seeking to place herself above scrutiny, Batoyi undermined not only the commission, but the very principles of accountability and justice she is meant to uphold. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.